Okay, so this is the follow-up video from our last webinar. It's about understanding rooting. And so we'll start with, I'll give you the sections here. It's going to be the feet tell the story, the balls of the feet, the lead foot and rear foot. The structure will determine the root. You never squat to root, variable changes of rooting, and you have to video, study, and feel so feel and real become the same thing. You're not guessing. So on the feet tell a story. So if I'm here, I've got a big kind of tennis ball here that we're going to use. So when I'm here, when I say the feet tell a story is like, so if I'm collapsed in my posture and collapsed like this, I know if by feel when I do this that I'm rooted, kind of back into the heels here. Now if I tip over and straighten the knees, I'm going to be kind of over. Whether I'm rooting or not, I know I'm going to be limited if I bend too much to move, so I'm going to lose some of the root for the balls of the feet because I'm right on the toes. It should be right on the balls of the feet. And so everybody will look a little bit different, but you're going to have to find for yourself. Now, telling the story, we're going to go backswing to impact and through the grip alignment point to the sustain zone a little bit. So if you look at this, if I go out like this and collapse and I'm swaying back just like in a zone 3, 4, 5, doesn't matter. You can see that ankle has rotated this way. So that means as I move this way, the inward leg has kicked in like this, the outward leg is kicked out like that, and the club swings back. And so you're going to see some plane issues. You're going to see a lot of different issues. Now you can recover. You can roll out like Colin Montgomery kind of rolls out, and he kind of rolls out and he rocks back in. So he finds his root through rocking back and forth. So there's a way to do that. What you're going to see traditional, and the way I would recommend for everybody training, is as you bend, you're going to be right on the tops of the toes, just like this. So when I'm here, I can feel that I'm bent just right now. If I went like this, stood straight up, had a lot of knee flex, or I had a lot of knee flex and crunched down, the position of the root changes. You can see I don't need a lot of knee flex. Just to the tongue of the shoe or to the arch is all you need right here with the knee flex. If I straighten my knee flex here, that's going to lock up the feet again. It's going to lock up your rotation. If I go with too much knee flex, you're going to get too twisty through the spine like this, and you won't have a firm, deep root into the ground. So a lot of people, they've heard to try to keep their knees flexed, so they squat a whole lot like this. That's really not what you want. You want to start off pretty tall and bent, just a little bit of knee flex. The pelvis is the lumbar is flat here, and it's not you don't have a big arch, not really sticking your butt way back. You have it back, but the pelvis pulls under forward like this, and then the middle part of the spine is somewhat flat. It's going to be relative to your body, the build that you have, and then from there, it's really just getting the structure from here. So when I say structure, that's going to be the knees, the feet, the hips, and the top part of the spine in the right position for your body style to where you can move most efficient. Remember this, if you bend way over like this, you're going to have a hard time rotating. If I have you stand up tall, too tall like this, you're going to have a hard time getting to the ground, okay? And so that doesn't mean you can't adjust. So you can adjust, you can have a variable change. So right, you're in control of this on your downswing. So if I was to stand up here, then I can, what we call find the root. You found the root here, now you go forward. It's just not realistic. Same thing if I bend way over like this, and I feel I'm out over the tops of my toes and not on the balls of the feet here, then you can start to pivot back to center and go here. That's what great players do, and when you see their swings, like some players that are way bent like this, they kind of go up, then they kind of go back a little bit, and then they go together, or they might have a little twist like this, get inside, they've kind of lost the root to the outside, so it would look like this, they've lost the root back, or even with the knee potentially, and then they recover and get to square. So you don't have to be perfect. It's just when you train, you should know what perfect is so that you know how to find the root from any position. And it's more of a training thing. You're not trying to go out to the golf course and you might do it a few rounds, but your goal is to where you're automatic with anything in the hands, the shaft, and the feet. So it's just a training thing, and it's a great time of year to be working on developing the root. Most of the time, when you see somebody that's trying to root down in their feet, they will do this. They will squat. So they'll squat like this, and they'll go, look, I'm really heavy in my feet. Well, you changed your height a lot, for one. You're collapsed through the spine like this, or you could have it with a lot of knee flex with your butt way back, and now you've locked up your lower lumbar and your thoracic, and so you can't really move, right and left. So it's very important to understand, kind of what's the best way. There's a lot of different ways to learn how to get into it, but the structure will certainly affect the root. So when I'm here, if I just hold my club straight out, not tipped over, not leaning back, but just like this, kind of straight up and down, arms somewhat in or whatever, and I bend in one unit, and I don't bend back, and I don't lean forward, I just bend straight down this way, and just barely knee flex, just a little bit of knee flex, and now I can really feel it in my toes, and I feel really athletic, like I can move around both sides. So again, that's here. I'd hold this not up, not down like this. I hold it. Watch the angle I'm holding this at. It's kind of just right below the sternum, and right between the sternum and your belly button. So it's right here. I just bend forward to the tops of my, to the balls of my feet, and I have you can see just a little knee flex, and that's way too much there. So I've got right here. Now I can really feel the pressure that I can move around the tops of the toes really well. Okay. Now, the lead foot and the rear foot, the root's not going to be the same, okay? It changes halfway down, it becomes kind of the same thing, but you got to realize they're doing two different things. It's important to know. When you're set up straight down, your body part should be, you can see here this ball, it should be facing the ball square. You shouldn't be set up like this. That affects the root. That means you got pressure going that way, pressure going this way, and you've got weight on this side with your upper body, you've got weight on the left side going that way, vice versa if you're left-handed, or obviously this way. You got to think of rooting and alignments, okay? So alignments being square to the ball, rooting being center pressure of feet, and they affect each other, okay? So if I'm like this, my rooting is definitely affected, so is my rotation. Doesn't mean you can't play. If I'm like this, I'm certainly affecting my rotation, or my rooting and my alignments, okay? If I'm centered up like this, and I bend correctly through the drill correctly, bend down. Now when I bend, watch when I do this like this. I don't squat down like this. I don't drive my hips straight back. I just go straight down and let the club drop. It'll hit the ground, boom. And I can feel the center pressure feet. As long as I didn't have this or this, I'm gonna be good. So it's here, straight alignment, down, feel it, get into the tops of the feet, just a little bit of flex to the tongue of the shoe, and that's where you'll feel it. That pressure is going to be going straight down. So it's just like if I had this club straight down, just like that, the root, right into the ground. All right? So then when you go into your backswing, the way the rooting should work with big power hitters is the rooting will go, if you watch, the big toe and second toe is where the root happens from, and most of you have seen the videos that talk about that. But it goes behind the golf ball and out towards the golf ball. It doesn't go inside. Like if I took this and just went laterally this way, just straight inside, it's a very weak position. If I take the same one and push it out towards the golf ball, that lead side is very heavy. But it's also, I'm rooted in my big toe and second toe here. So it's very important when you're turning away that you, now I'm not saying this, but I'm saying that's why you see people can lift their heel off the ground. They leave their heel off the ground, it's going at an angle. So that's going this way, okay? Out towards the golf ball, and you can see how it loads the hips. If I go only inside, it looks like this. I'm very limited. There's not hardly any power there, okay? And that's where you see when somebody swings left-handed, they'll typically move like that. Their knee doesn't really move. It moves straight inside, locked up, and there's no power. So when they swing their opposite side, that's why they don't have any power or coordination. Your lead side, it should go slightly behind the ball this way. It doesn't have to lift the toe. I mean, I'm not saying that, but that's the angle the root is at. And the pressure is heavy and strong against the ground with the big toe and the second toe and the inside portion of the foot. So this part of the foot is really strong against that ground, pushing against it. The back foot, what happens is it starts, again, they both start like this. As the front one's going inward like this, the back one is going down in a circle. and it's staying on the top part of the foot, not the heel would look like this. So the heel would look like this, be very tall and like this, and then the top part of the feet would look more like this. So you see, you don't have to have a lot of knee flex, but when the left works correctly or the lead works correctly, and the right works correctly and braces against that, you're going to have very strong hips, and you're going to allow your thoracic part of your spine to rotate freely like it's designed to. So this one works kind of like in a clockwise position, just in a circle. The back leg. The front leg is working at an angle this way towards the ball, okay? But it's applying pressure, and you don't get high with the hips, so that's another thing. So you don't do it like this. You're putting pressure down in the ground with that big toe, second toe, in the inside portion of the foot. This part is working straight down, and it's like you're torquing like a wrench, torquing a screw there, where it's just building it in right into the top parts of the feet, not in the heel. Okay. All right. Then in transition, it goes. You just take that; it'll start to go straight down. What we teach a little bit just here, and then from here we circle back. So both feet will circle because both feet are. If you have your angles of your feet correct, it'll be like this, and then they just circle back. So they circle back this way towards the target line. Okay, and now the center pressure of the feet are more down the ground. This left is not out here anymore. It's not back this way. It's from the structure. When I circle, your knees getting back into alignment, back, different positions for different players, but the knees will get back into its square alignment, even though, because it's going through a flow, but those are the positions you would see. So it looked like when I get back to there, out of here, these knees are again, they're going more laterally down the line this way. Okay, so when I get here, it's like this. Again, if I slid, here's the variations. If I slid, it would look like that. I've rooted on my left. Its left is fine. I've got nothing to push off on my right. That's why a slide is a no-go. Okay, if I twist with my hips from the transition this way, like that, the root is pushing pressure down it, but it's also pushing it out. This foot's light. I have nothing, so I'm just hitting it with my arms and wrists. Okay, it's very hard. You can do it if you're good enough, but most people are not going to be good enough to do that. And that's why it's important to get efficient with how you root. So I'm here loaded, and then as I circle and unwind, the rooting in transition stays straight down. Then as I circle, you can see that both the root is, again, it's more neutral, right on tops again, and then forward momentum that we're working on, the ankles would just move forward and allow you to come up to the grip alignment point. So it goes like this. Circle, and you're training, then you work, as you're trying to work laterally kind of down the line, the hips will be opening, you're just not trying to spin them. See, if I spin my hips like this from the top and pull this back, the root's pulling back diagonally behind me. Makes me rotate my lower lumbar spine, makes me spin out. So a lot of times people will try to snap up the hips and get forward. Even if I snap back, I lock that leg up. It's horrible for the knee. You can still hit doing this. It's horrible for the knee, and it makes you snap with your hands, and you're going to not have the same stability you would if you didn't do that. So if you watch, again, I'm rooted really good here. I circle, and I'm going to hold for a second, and then I'm going to work my knees laterally, and you can see about moving to the grip alignment point. As I get here and move laterally, there will be rotation, even though you're not really trying to spin out. You're just trying to get the sweet spot and the whole body up to the grip alignment point in the same time. Okay, and right here, if you're in the grip alignment point correctly, see, if I didn't have the structure right, if my hip was back here and like this leg is solid, but the foot's not really rooted like the whole structure. It should be, when you get here, ideally when you're hitting, and especially in training, this foot is rooted, but it's also got good structure. So it has if you look, the knee, the hip, and the shoulder and the shaft are all in the same alignment at the grip alignment point. Okay. And the foot will be too, but it's rotated out because of golf, so because of the rotation moving forward. So everything is in good structure. If I did this, you can see that's the same thing. That's the same grip alignment point. You'll see great players that are here sometimes, but they've pulled the spine out, the lower part of the spine out, stiffen up the hip, and you don't see that alignment. The hip's not aligned, the knee's not aligned. But if they were better lined up with their body, that would be what it would look like. Because remember, timing trumps everything. Timing's going to be the club head, the club itself. Okay, rooting will just give you better structure, so as you know, you get your hand to two different things. You get your hands better, so you hit the ball better. You get your, your relationship with the club head better with the ball. You're going to hit it better. Then you learn how to get your body structured with that and become automatic. And then obviously it makes the swing a lot simpler. You don't have as many moving parts. Okay. Just remember, there's any variation in rooting, you need to know what's the strongest. And so if I was here, if I had somebody, even with the shaft, so if I said, hey, how's that feel? I'm just going to stop you right here, and I'm going to hit the ball from right here. How's that feel? Not strong. Okay, well, that's the same as rooting. Okay, it's not strong, so you don't want to hit from there or swing from there. If I cock it all the way back, how's that feel? Some people will say, oh, it feels all right, but it's too wobbly. It's not strong enough. So there's certain things you'll find in your swing that the strengths. Where's the strongest point to make a strike from? Wherever it's at. And the rooting's the same way. You have to find, like, if I go back here like this, I'm using my brain to feel where's that at. This root is way over here. I'm light on my left. It doesn't mean I couldn't recover if I was a really good player, because a great player will find the root, just like they find the side of the shaft and the sweet spot and all that with the golf ball. So a great player will find it, okay? But, great players don't really have all these adjustments, or they adjust without thinking about it. It's just how they do it. Amateurs have to build things a little more simplistic, okay? Eliminate all the crazy stuff. And this will also teach you how to adjust if you have to adjust. So anyway, we're going to go back. So if I leaned over, let's just say I twisted like this. So this leg's really heavy. This leg's not heavy at all. It's nothing. Okay, it's another variation. If I spin this way, this leg's really heavy. This leg's not. There's just a lot of different. If I kick my legs out this way and then I snap this way, you just play the games with yourself and just until you get it and it makes sense. That's all this is about. It's about finding the strongest position of the root, okay? And it'll be on the tops of the toes. So that's why we do the drills where you see me do, where I take the heels off the ground like this. All right, not a lot of knee flex, and just practice turning around that, not letting the heels ever hit the ground, just like this, turning back to the ball, just like this, and not allowing, again, my heels to hit the ground like this. Just staying on the top. So it's like you're turning back, you're turning into it, but the heels are staying up, and you're not doing it like this. This is not what I'm talking about, like this. There's not much knee flex. That's what makes it difficult, and it also it's what makes it strong and efficient, and you can see very simple. Okay. The biggest thing on the rooting is just to practice and try to feel it. And you have to use video, because if you have you're not trying to just plant your feet straight in the ground and really lock them in like this. You're not trying to. If you get your body structured correctly, they will root themselves into the ground. You just need to feel it. And once you feel it and you're doing it good, and then build that for a while, and eventually you just let it go. It's not like when I swing or when great players swing, they don't think about sitting here trying to root the feet in the ground perfectly and all that. It's just there through their training. It's either natural or through training. It can certainly be trained, okay? But you have to look at alignments to the ball as well, okay? If you're set up, when you're in the iPad and it looks like this, it is like that. If it's like this, it is like that. You have to learn how to center yourself, get your joints facing the golf ball, very level with the shoulders, level with the hips, relative to the ball, not a much tilt this way or this way. Just like this, let the club sit down, take your grip, and you'll start to see you have better alignments to the golf ball. When you start switching over this way or this way, it's going to affect the rooting. It's going to affect how you deliver the shaft and the simplicity of the swing. Okay. So anyway, I hope that answers all your questions on rooting. It's nobody can tell you really how to do it. I mean, you can help with structure and get somebody into it, but you still have to tap into where am I really at. And if you understand in our fitness videos where we talk about neutral posture, that's a big thing. Understanding how to find neutral posture, how to acquire it, and if you're doing any workouts, yoga, Tai Chi, or the kettlebells, your posture is going to start naturally improving, so your rooting will naturally get better. If you're not doing any kind of training, if you're not doing 3 days a week or 2 days a week of training, you'll have to manually work on it quite a bit, and it's a harder road, actually. It's a harder road than just doing the workouts, 20 minutes each day, 3 times a week, something like that. So anyway, hope that really helps you. It's a lot of information, but you have to go in and you have to study this video, several times. Don't just watch it once. Study it several times, and you'll start to understand where it's coming from, about how the root changes throughout the swing. And then you can start to build that in your training when you're swinging. You can start to focus on it. Where is it coming from? How are my feet? Because the feet will tell you the story. The tops of the feet, the whole feet, with all the whole foot will tell you the story. You just have to know: is the heel? Is it heel pressure? Is it side pressure on the outside, inside? Is it where we talked about? And when you get it to where we talk about, that means I don't care what you're doing. You're getting better with your structure, and therefore you're going to move more efficiently than what you did before. How many people would have good rooting before when they come to see us? Oh, I would say you might have 1 out of 1,000 that actually has good rooting, and that's with you're talking high-level players. When you improve the rooting, whether you're a low handicap or a high handicap, you'll play better. You'll play. There's no doubt you'll play better in long term and a little more pain-free for sure. It doesn't mean that you can have really good rooting and still not be a high-level player, but your body will be structured the whole way. If your body's structured that way, it would be a lot harder to play bad golf than it would be good golf. So it would only leave if you had good structure and rooting through the whole swing. The only way you could play bad golf is if the shaft wasn't doing the right things. So, because they're not related. Some people say the body drives the shaft, shaft drives the body. Look, shafts independent of each other. You know, I can get up here. So if I'm swinging like this, all right, and I take it back, and I can go off that foot, go backwards this way, and still hit the same spot every time. I can go this way and still hit it every time. I can go this way and move around. So they're not related to each other necessarily. They're just not. So you need to be really good with both, the whole body, and then this is first and foremost. Get the club in order, then get the body in order, and then you start to let it go, and you'll be in good shape. So anyway, see you guys tonight.